Hello, my name is Ryan Conlon, and today I'm going to be explaining the complete free energy principle. So, first I'll talk about um, the standard free energy principle, which is developed by Carl Friston. His model includes prediction error or surprise and complexity. And the paradox here, the problem here, is that both of those terms are penalties. And so there is no explanation. It's incapable of explaining why anything happens. The mathematically optimal condition, according to an equation that only has penalties, is nothing. It's to do nothing, because anything that you would do could only ever generate either complexity or more surprise. And so there'd be no reason for that to happen. So there needs to be a reward term too. So there needs to be costs, surprise and complexity still. There needs to be a reward term. So that's basically the part that I contributed, which is what I call degeneracy or generativity. And it's essentially it rewards separation, meaningful separation, relevant separation. So it's clarification, it's reducing uncertainty or reducing ambiguity, and that generates a reward. It's also essentially paying attention. Your attention is essentially degeneracy slash generativity. So the complete free energy principle still has surprise and complexity as KL divergences, and then the generativity reward term is a generalized Jensen-Shannon divergence. And it essentially measures the expressiveness of the system. So to understand expressiveness, so if somebody ever proposes a candidate for foundation, for for generating all possibilities or all structures, the foundation of all structures, that that candidate has to be maximally expressive. Basically, if anybody ever comes up with any kind of pattern or structure or expression that can't be generated by some candidate foundation, then that foundation is not the right foundation. That's kind of obvious, right? Like if somebody come up with something and it can't be generated by something you're proposing, then that thing can't be what created everything. So it has to be, whatever the real foundation is, it has to be maximally expressive. Furthermore, expressiveness has to be larger than what's actualizable in order for us to have any notion of impossibility, which is also needed for us to have a priori reasoning that can take us to the foundation so that we can have the system that validates our reasoning. So CFEP can be derived essentially entirely a priori. Really, it just relies on the minimal requirements for an embedded agent to be able to know the truth, just in general. So one has to assume perfect conservation of information, and one has to assume that we have choice. Concluding that we don't have choice is invalid. So, because if you don't have choice, you don't have valid reasoning, either a posteriori or a priori. To have valid a priori reasoning, you have to be able to consider contradictions and deliberately go down the wrong line of reasoning to show that it fails. And that behavior couldn't really be explained without choice, unless you just have an invalid reasoning system that sometimes forces you to make absurd errors. And if that's not a choice, then you just don't have a valid reasoning system. So, this will be part one of an ongoing series where I'm going to be trying to explain more of the nitty-gritty details of CFEP, and some of the things that it can explain in physics, as well as philosophy, like ontology and epistemology, and of course consciousness. So, thank you.